Blessed morning to all. Secondly, blessed Father's Day to all the fathers in the house. I am thankful for the fathers that we have here at NDM. Anybody sharing this sentiment? I believe there are amazing examples of what biblical fatherhood looks like. Yeah? And this morning, I will not be singing. I will be doing what is considered spoken word ministry. And this piece I have brought this morning, I consider it to be something of a very challenging perspective, something that is very personal. But I hope that as I share it, you can follow along in the emotion that it has as I wrote this piece. Yeah? Here it goes. These days, I wonder about our children's bread. Because instead of weaning them from breast milk, they're planting seeds in wealth and greed, and they're reaping guns like it was child's play. I mean, look at their hands. Are they not already calloused? Like they were doing calisthenics, fishing for balls in the holes, like they turned a game of pool into a ping pong tournament. And they now back and forth rolling with the best. Wow, how I thought role models were to be the ones taking better pictures. I thought role models meant roles, adults. Instead, I see a bunch of grown-up juveniles inside of a kiddie pool bragging about new toys. Where was I going with this? I'm saying parents, to you all everywhere, there's nobody more responsible for raising your children than you. So what if the teachers didn't do it? What if the child or their other friends didn't do it? Oh, the media, the TV, the music, they got to do it because me being fruit of your loins is good enough, right? I can get no time, no attention, no affection, no conversation. And when I get that burning sensation from that thing I was watching on that screen, what was I supposed to do about it? I respond curiously. I never knew my role in this was to flee. You see, I started that riot. I could swear that it was Baltimore. I was ever ready, Freddy, 50 shades of scenes going through my head. And after I made a mess, I digress. I can't tell you a thing about it because guess what? You'd be ashamed of me. But I confess, the last time I did something I wasn't supposed to do, I was blistered, cold, shouldered. And you say it's Father's Day. Let's give us something for the fathers. And I apologize, I started off by talking about parenting, but when I think father, I think parent, and parenting was never meant to be done alone. But see, there are mothers out there doing the work of both, and I applaud you, that's tough. But there are fathers out there doing the work of mothers too, and believe me, we have our issues. But see, I can't address all. I only came to address a few. I hope to challenge. I hope to charge. You see, I am no father yet. But if the Lord permits someday, I do hope that I can have of my own. But I do know what it's like to feel like I have no father, even when I had one. From an early age, screaming, "Daddy, Daddy," only to grow up and have that image shattered and stripped away from me. You see, as a young boy, I grew up knowing that I was no longer tracing the idea of being a better man, only a bigger boy. If I continued to follow in his footsteps. If I had only known. I needed to know what true commitment really was. Instead of just sticking around just to see if my equipment was good. I needed to know what reliability and responsibility really entailed. Instead of just turning tail and dropping boxers when there was mounting pressure coming through a mailbox. I needed to know what it meant to truly be a leader. One who would cherish and diligently served those who were given to his hands and would put his life to the gallows if they weren't in better clothes. I'm talking spiritually, dressed in fine robes and glory. You see, I'd see his job as preparatory. I needed to know what it meant to be a visionary. One who would look past every single present circumstance to the truth of the matter, because he knows what matters is the truth, and the only time there's a change to that vision is because he who beholds it determines that there's one. Beloved, whether he rises or remains a coward, that's what makes the difference. You see, I had to circumcise this wretched brain of mine, thinking it was never a crime to be chasing after a penny or a dime a piece, 2 pieces hidden in my pants, a couple magazines underneath my bed. Yeah, I knew the ins and outs of what it was when there was a father who neglected his fatherhood. You see, it never ends with him. It becomes a cycle. See, there's always a young boy who grows up, and he's fighting the thought of doing what you were doing. And he goes out on the blocks, and he finds a bunch of other boys whose daddy's doing the same thing you were doing. And then you get a whole bunch of boys doing what you were doing, and the only thing they know is how to destroy the women. And for young girls, simply put, if they don't find daddy in you, they're going to look for daddy in somebody else. Godly men, biblical fathers, men whose lives are shaped by the gospel. We need you. You see, this world is like a body. And this body is in sickness. And the only time you see sickness being fought is when the white blood cells of that body respond to fix it. Men of NDM, we are those white blood cells. Thank you.